The story of Layla and Majnun Kas, a young poet from the Banu Amir tribe, falls deeply in love with Layla, a beautiful girl from his community. Their love blossoms in childhood, but as they grow older, Layla's father forbids their union, fearing that Kay's obsession would bring dishonor to their family. Heartbroken, Kays wanders the desert, composing passionate verses about his love for Layla. His relentless devotion earns him the name Majnun, meaning madman. Despite his suffering, he refuses to marry anyone else, dedicating his life to his love for Layla. Layla, meanwhile, is forced into marriage with another man. Though she remains faithful to Majnun in spirit, she is bound by societal expectations. Majnun, lost in his sorrow, retreats into the wilderness, living among animals and rejecting human companionship. Their love remains unfulfilled, and in the end, both Layla and Majnun die without ever being together. Some versions of the story say Majnun dies at Layla's grave, whispering her name with his last breath. Their tragic fate cements their place as one of the most famous lovers in literary history. This tale has inspired countless poets, musicians, and artists across cultures, including Eric Clapton's song Layla, which was influenced by this legendary romance. Would you like to explore more about its cultural impact or different versions of the story? The Persian version by Nizami Ganjavi. In this version, Kaz, a young nobleman, falls hopelessly in love with Layla. His love for her is pure, intense, and all-consuming. However, when Kaz openly declares his feelings, Layla's father refuses to allow their marriage, believing that such an obsessive love would bring shame upon their family. Devastated, Kaz retreats into solitude, wandering the desert and composing poetry that speaks of his undying love for Layla, his heartbreak and refusal to rejoin. Society earned him the name Majnun, meaning madman. He chooses exile over a life without Layla, living among animals, surviving on nature's gifts, and losing himself in poetic verses. Meanwhile, Layla is married off to another man, though she never truly loves him. She longs for Majnun, but remains trapped within societal constraints. Eventually, she falls ill and dies from heartbreak. When Majnun learns of her death, he journeys to her grave, where he mourns until he too perishes. Some versions say he whispers her name with his final breath. The story is deeply symbolic. Majnun's devotion to Layla reflects the Sufi concept of divine love, where love transcends earthly matters and becomes spiritual in nature. Nizami's masterpiece has influenced Persian, Turkish, and Urdu poetry for centuries, and its themes of longing, madness, and unattainable love still resonate today. It's truly one of the most powerful love stories ever written. Do you find tragic romances like this particularly interesting? Chapter 2. The Love That Could Not Be. As Kaz and Layla grew, their childhood bond deepened into a love that defied words. They met in secret, exchanging poetry, stolen glances, and promises of eternal devotion. Their love was pure, untouched by greed or ambition. But the whispers of their affection reached Layla's father, who feared scandal and disgrace. He forbade their union, declaring that Kaz would never be allowed to marry his daughter. In his eyes, love was a fragile thing, dangerous, uncontrollable, and bound to destroy those who clung to it too tightly. Kaz, unwilling to accept this cruel fate, pleaded with Layla's father. He promised to honor her, to cherish her, and to bring prosperity to their family. Yet the old man remained firm, blinded by tradition and fear. He arranged for Layla to be married to another, crushing the dreams of the two lovers. Chapter 3. The Descent into Madness. When Kaz learned of Layla's impending marriage, he was overcome with grief. He wandered the streets, composing verses of sorrow and longing, speaking of Layla as if she were the moon itself, beautiful but always out of reach. His pain deepened into obsession, and he rejected the life he once knew. He refused food and water, abandoned his home, and fled into the vast desert, where he lived among wild animals and whispered Layla's name to the wind. His madness became legend. Travelers spoke of the man who had forsaken the world for love. His poetry spread across the land, haunting the hearts of those who heard it. The name Majnun, madman, was given to him, and soon he was no longer Kay's, but only a lost soul, consumed by his devotion to Layla. Chapter 4. Layla's Silent Suffering. Though forced into marriage, Layla never gave her heart to another. Her mind remained with Majnun, and every night she would listen to the wind, wondering if his voice still carried her name. Her husband, though a man of wealth, could never reach her heart. She became a prisoner in her own home, longing for a love that had been stolen from her. The years passed, and Layla's health began to wither. Her sorrow drained her spirit until she could fight no more. One cold evening she collapsed, her strength failing, and as she lay dying, she whispered Majnun's name for the last time. Chapter 5. Death and Reunion. When Majnun learned of Layla's death, the weight of his sorrow became unbearable. He stumbled through the desert, weak from years of solitude and suffering, until he reached her grave. He fell to his knees, tracing his fingers over the earth that held her, whispering poetry of love and loss. He remained there for days, refusing to leave her side. And then, in the stillness of the night, he took his final breath. His body lay beside hers, his soul freed at last from the torment of separation. Legend says that their spirits, once trapped by fate, found each other beyond this world, where they were finally reunited, never to be parted again. This timeless tale has moved hearts across generations, symbolizing love that transcends all barriers, even death itself. Eternal Love, a modern retelling of Layla and Majnun, as the desert winds whispered their names for centuries. Layla and Majnun's souls drifted through time, forever bound but never united. Their love, unfulfilled in life, became legend, a tale of longing, madness, and sorrow. But legends do not end. In the quiet beyond the veil of the mortal world, Majnun wandered, just as he had in life, lost in the spaces between dreams and memory. He had known only longing, his poetry carved into the fabric of time, his whispers carried through the stars. But here, where earthly sorrow could not reach, something stirred in the distant glow of eternity, a voice, soft, familiar, eternal. Majnun, it called. He turned, and there she stood, Layla, untouched by the weight of fate, radiant in the glow of the world beyond. No walls, no fathers, no cruel hands of destiny stood between them now. For the first time, Majnun did not have to chase shadows, did not have to whisper her name into the wind. She was here. Tears shimmered in his eyes, but there was no sadness, only awe, only love. He stepped forward, hesitating as if afraid she might vanish like all the times before. But she reached for him, her fingers brushing against his, and in that single moment the centuries of sorrow melted away. "I have waited," he murmured. "And I have searched," she whispered. No force, no fate, no earthly chains could pull them apart now. The desert of solitude was gone, replaced by fields of light where only love remained. As they embraced, time itself bowed to their reunion, and the stars swayed in silent celebration. Layla and Majnun together at last, not as legend, not as tragedy, but as love, unbroken and infinite. This version reimagines their love as something that transcends time and even fate itself.